Hey everybody, welcome to Unpacked Games. This is Jason. Today we're going to be taking a look at Zombicide 2nd Edition, the all-in Kickstarter edition. If you had caught my previous video, I had just done a top 10 crowdfunded games coming in 2021, and in number 10 on that list was Zombicide 2nd Edition, and even though I posted that video last week, it looks like it just arrived today. So this all-in edition includes the base game, which you can see here. It also includes the Washington, D.C. campaign expansion and this Reboot Box. And in addition to that, we've got the Presidential Box, which includes 6 additional Survivor minis, all previous presidents. So I'm going to set each one of these boxes aside. And we'll start with the main box. So I backed this game back in late 2019, and the original delivery date was scheduled for, I think, December of 2020. But of course, with everything going on with COVID and the international shipping situation, it was a couple months late, but that's okay. They were pretty good with their updates, and everything looks pretty good. So looks like we've got a QR code for some free content. Not sure what that is. Well, right away we've got a pretty thick rule book and missions. It literally has like a hard rectangular edge or spine. Let's take a look at this. So here it outlines the ID cards and the survivor miniatures and then the zombie miniatures, of which there are 76. And then the double-sided tiles, which contains like the streets and the stores and buildings that you can enter. Here's the survivor dashboards, the bases, and all the other components that are included with the game. Here's a picture of what the game looks like during setup. Love the art style in this game. Absolutely love it. When I originally backed this game, I think I just went with the core box, which was around $100. And then during the pledge manager, I opted to go all in. So I got all of the expansions and I think everything pretty much extra they had at the time. So we're still in the rules section. It's pretty good. It's got kind of this edge that indicates when you're in rules, and then probably when it switches from that to the missions. Let's see here. So, quite a few rules. Okay, so pretty much 35 pages of rules, and then it switches to missions. And then I don't want to page through too much of this because I don't know if there's any spoilers or anything in there. So pretty much half the book is dedicated to rules, and then the other half to missions. And then a quick game round summary on the back. Next up, we've got what looks like a nice internal box for, I'm presuming, is going to be all the minis. Oh, not all the minis. Okay. So here we've got a little baggie with the multicolored bases for the player characters. This side here. All the same multicolored pegs, which are, I believe, these each color for each player, and those are going to be on these player little dashboards here. So you'll have places for pegs to track things. I believe this top slot is your backpack, so you can put extra equipment in there. And this is kind of your adrenaline meter. So I believe as you progress, you gain adrenaline, and then adrenaline unlocks sort of special moves for your character. So blue, yellow, orange, and red, corresponding with this chart down here. This is a little pack of, I'm assuming, all the player characters. So this is cool. This is plastic, so it's nice that they included this, and it's not like a, cardboard or anything like that. We've got 6 trays, one for each player, and each tray corresponds with the 6 different colored bases that we have and the 6 different colored pegs that we have. Over here we've got a stack of mini cards, and then here's just a little bag of dice. And this plastic insert, let's see, so it's got a little lid, so it'll protect these minis on top from falling out. And then this whole thing it's kind of got a clear, transparent bottom here. And this looks like it's all the gray ones are zombies, and then all the orange ones are the player characters. And we'll take a close-up look at those in a second. And these are going to be a whole nother row of gray zombies. So let me move these away here. And here we'll lay out some of the player characters so you can see what they look like. And we'll try and get a nice close-up of those. These characters are very high detailed and they're very tiny. So it looks like they're using your standard mini size that everybody would expect. Now the bad news is that I've not been paying attention as I've been pulling these out, so figuring out where these go is probably going to be interesting. Let's set some more out here. And again, we'll try and get a close-up of those. So the orange ones are the player characters. You've got regular sized zombies that sort of match the size of the player characters. And then we've got these sort of, I'm going to call them double-sized characters that are double-sized. These are also very detailed and they are very well done. So I'm going to set this aside. And then on the bottom row of this box, again, we've got a lid on top, which is great because that's going to prevent all of these characters from falling out if you store the box sideways or standing up. But again, this is just a big row of zombies. We've got all different kinds. Very cool. There's some darker gray ones here. I'm not sure if these are like the abominations. These are kind of like fatter characters. And then we've got these skinny little guys down here. So let me set these aside. And yeah, I can already tell putting these back is going to be challenging because they all want to go very specifically in their place, and I don't remember where they go. So let me I'll do that later. Move these guys. And then here's a close-up of this pack of zombies. Inside the box, it looks like there's some instructions on maybe how to place. Yeah, there you go, nice. It tells you exactly where each player character is going to go, what numbered slot they're in, and then where each of the zombies go. And it also tells you how to put everything back in the box, which is nice because otherwise I'm going to have to rewind this video to figure that out. So let me put this back in here, and I will cover it with its little lid. And then I'm just going to temporarily put this in. It's kind of a mess. Let's set this aside for a second. So here we've got a nice big stack of cardboard. And I'm assuming these are just spacers. Yeah, so these are hollow. And it's just preventing this thing from sliding around. So right away we've got a stack here that looks like these are going to be sound tokens or noise tokens. So as you're playing, your various actions will generate noise. And then we've got some tokens in the middle that I'm not quite sure. These look like maybe these are loot boxes or something like that. And then here is a tile showing some kind of location. Let's see if we can figure out what the location is. I have no idea. This sinks, that looks like a bathtub maybe. So this is presumably a bathroom. So we have a couple more punch out cards there, and then these are all of the bases. So we'll set these aside. So here is the first base. So they're numbered. It says 1R, this has 2R, and so on. That's cool, that's like an arcade diner. These are very cool. So let's see, I've got it rotated a bit here. So we got 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'll try and get a wider shot of some of these laid out so you can get a better look at what they look like other than me just holding them. So let's move this aside here. So here we've got this other sheet of punch outs, and then we also have this. Looks like these are all the doors, and then these are the open versions. So opening doors is one example of generating noise depending on which item you use. If you use like a crowbar or a sledgehammer, and then these are pretty much the same on both sides. Got a couple cars, which is actually pretty cool. So now you can drive cars to get from one end of the map to the other. That's pretty neat. So we'll set these aside. And then here's a stack of cards. So I'm going to open this up. So you can already tell by the edge that they're somewhat color coded. So I'm going to try and separate them into stacks that make sense. So we've got this blue stack, red, gray, and then it looks like these are going to be all the zombies, minus a few at the end, which are abominations. So all of these zombie cards, they have various stats, and then every once in a while you're going to get ones that look like these, which are these walker rushes, and those I believe means they can spawn, yeah, spawn and activate. So they kind of get like 2 actions as soon as they come around. Here's some fatties, here's some runners. Let's see what else we got. Abominations. And then it looks like we've got some red ones at the end here. Yeah, these are extra activation cards. So it looks like if you get one of those, then all walkers, or depending on your adrenaline, on your player dashboard, the adrenaline will indicate who this affects. All walkers, no one, all fatties, all runners. And then the rest are just a bunch of random zombie cards. So let's put these back together. So these were all, this was the entire zombie stack, and they all have the same back. So then we have 4 abominations here. These look like they're probably going to be like boss battles. So we've got Patient Zero, Hobomination, Abominacop, and Abomina-Wild. And next we have, looks like equipment cards. So there's only, looks like about 6 here. Got baseball bat, crowbar, fire axe, pistol, another pistol, and another pistol. So 3 pistols, fire axe, crowbar, and a baseball bat. Then we've got some red equipment here. So these look like they're, well, these 2 spawn. It's place a walker in the zone, then discard this card. So those are some spawns. We got an army sniper rifle, automatic shotgun. So these are like sort of legendary equipment. Dual wielding pistols, golden AK-47, golden kukri, gunblade, Maz shotgun, nail bat, and whatever that is. Zen Tetsuken. Looks like a katana sword, basically. And then finally, we've got this blue stack, which is, well, we've got one blue card for the police car and Pimpmobile. And then we have this huge blue stack. Let's see what we've got here. Some more spawning cards, bag of rice. So this is going to be all your like equipment and items, canned food, chainsaw, crowbar, fire axe. So all of those things I believe can be used to open doors. And you can see they've got a noise indicator, flashlight. So this is more just straight up regular equipment too. Machete, Molotov, more pistols, bullets, plenty of shells, shotgun, sniper rifles, submachine gun, and water bottles. So that's a nice big stack of equipment there. And last but not least, I believe we're going to have the player cards. And these should be the individual player character cards that match up for the orange miniatures that we saw earlier. So we've got Amy, Doug, who, if anybody that's seen the movie Falling Down, looks very reminiscent of Michael Douglas's character, Ellie, Josh, Ned, Wanda, it's like a sort of like a diner waitress, Bunny G, pretty psychotic looking kid, Lily, Lou, Odin, Ostara, probably ruined that one, Tiger Sam, and back to Amy again. So these are all the player character cards, of which we have many. And that is everything that's inside the main core box. Next, we're going to take a look at the next box. So let me get all these cards packed up. So for the interest of time, I cut away, cleared everything out so you don't have to watch me clean up. And next we're going to take a look at the Reboot Box. So let me go ahead and open this one up. So I actually have no idea what this box is, but it looks like it's going to be just a lot more player characters and zombies. Looks like we've got a John Wick looking character in there. That's pretty cool. Except he has a cat instead of a dog. So let's open this up. Very, very thin Reboot Box rules. Doesn't really look like there's a whole lot other than just character specific details. And then we've got, looks like a big box of minis, and that's again pretty cool. It gives you a detailed outline of how everything needs to be put back. Little tiny stack of cards here, and some really big looking minis. Let's see if we can get this open. It's taped. On both sides. So we've got a mummy looking character. So let me set these aside so you can get a better close-up of them. And a Cthulhu looking character. He's one of the bigger ones. And this guy looks like a werewolf with, well, this is like some kind of half pig, half werewolf looking character. Got a regular size wolf and somebody that looks like he's from Silent Hill or something like that. We got a big stack of cards here, so we got a interesting. This one was just by itself. This looks like it's just going to be a huge stack of player cards. Way too many for me to try and go through. let's take a look at this box. Again, a detailed sort of map of how everything's going to get put back. So, uh-oh. Let's see. This guy kind of looks like a football player. Doesn't kind of look like he is a football player. Got a little horde of cowboy looking guys. This guy's hand looks like it's bent a little bit, so that stinks. Actually straightened it out there, so that's okay. And some of these minis are really cool looking. So let me pull this first top stack out so you can see. I'll try and get a close-up of these so you kind of get a better idea of what I'm looking at. But so we've got all kinds of different sizes here, some really big ones. These are all zombies. So we've got, looks like a chef, we got a cheerleader, all kinds of interesting characters. And then on this bottom half, another lid, which is great. These are all the different player characters that you can use. So there's a number of very interesting looking characters here. Again, the good news is that all the orange ones you can tell are player characters, and all the gray ones are zombies. We got a little old lady with a minigun. That's pretty awesome. We got this guy, looks like he's like the John Wick guy. He's holding a, looks like a shotgun, and he's a little cat in his arm. So I'm not going to try and take any of these out, but I'll get a close-up so you can see what they look like. There we go. No lids. That's why they were kind of spilled out when I took them out of the box. So set that aside. So then other than these character packs, that was the other thing in the Reboot box. Let me quickly open this so we can take a look. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Like I said, a huge stack. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what these are. They all look like zombies, but they look like playable characters too, so you'll have to forgive me because I'm not quite sure. That's definitely like a Snake Plissken character. So yeah, I gotta figure out what these are, but there's a ton. Yeah, okay. So these are probably the player characters. So let's take a look at this real quick. Okay, so yeah, these look like the regular player characters. That kind of matches that whole set of orange that we had. And there's a bunch here. There's the old lady with the minigun, Her Royal Majesty. Hudson's the John Wick looking guy. And these probably are going to be some form of basically pop culture. I have two Johnny Laws for some reason. I wonder if there's a correction there. Looks correct. Not sure why that happened. So these are all the player characters. And then these are zombivores, whatever. I guess some form of zombie-based survivor character that's converted to a zombie. So okay. So they're double-sided. These are the player characters. These are regular people that I guess at some point become zombied versions. Union worker number 42. That's definitely Hannibal Lecter. So yeah, let me figure out. I gotta figure out what these are. So this is a big old stack. So basically this box consists of this giant stack of Zombivers and player cards. So here we have the Washington ZC campaign expansion for Zombicide. So this box feels a little bit heavier, so it looks like it's got a whole bunch of stuff. Miniatures, survivors, equipment, more game tiles, and a campaign sheet. So let's go ahead and open this one. So here we've got the rules and missions book. Again, this one feels a little bit thick. It's got missions on the right there, Washington ZC, and then here's the rules. So presuming there's some campaign specific rules here for this. Otherwise it looks like it's pretty standard. This one looks like it's got a little bit of a spinner for the time of day. And then we've got a big stack of more location tiles. And then we've got a pad. These are all the same. So these are going to be your, for each player in the campaign. So you've got achievements, equipment kept, actions, campaign skills, which you probably earn over time, and then experience. These kind of correspond to the floor locations. And we got a bunch of notes and things like that. So these are all going to be story based. And we have a bunch more of these notes. And then here's a close-up of some of the additional player characters we get to use. We've got a couple different women, and then we have these two kind of lightly colored characters, which I'm presuming they might be VIPs or something like that. Maybe the president and first lady, I have no idea. And then we've, of course, just got our regular dice. So interestingly, everything, this sort of top layer just closes down on top of the minis. Everything else sits on top of that. So this goes in here, and then each of the notes stacks goes in there. And I guess when you punch out the time of day item, that'll just sit here permanently. Flashlight icons will go in here, and the vehicle will sit right on top. So that's very good. And then we've got our player cards. Let me open this real quick. So these actually open nicely, so they're reusable, these little baggies. So we have Angelo, Anton, Ashley, Justin, Mindy, Tess, and that's it. So those will sit right there. Probably don't need to keep the little baggie. And then this sits on top. So this one actually I could get back. Okay, so that one is actually able to put away rather easy. And the last item to open is this presidential box survivor pack. So this is just going to be 6 survivor miniatures of each of the presidents. Let's take a look at this now. So it looks like we have Abe Lincoln, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, George Bush, Obama, and Trump. Let's see if I can get this open. Okay. And again, it's 2 layered, so we've got this top layer that sort of acts as like a lid. It's taped on, of course, so I'll just leave it, but I'll pull these characters out so you can actually see them with a close-up after that. But yeah, these characters are actually really cool looking. And then we've got the player cards. So they're just numbered. The presidents are numbered. And let me open this real quick. So we've got 45, 44. Well, so we've got Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, Reagan, and Abe. And both sides are the same. And we've got a little tiny card in here that indicates any specific rules for the presidential box. One of the special skills is the red button. Do they all have that? Yeah, that's funny. So one side has the button and then the other side has the button pressed. So here's a close-up of the president's cards and also the presidential minis, of which there are 6 included with this pack. So there's the presidential box, Washington, D.C., the Reboot Box, and last but not least, the Core 2nd Edition box. And there you have it. There is the complete all-in Kickstarter edition for Zombicide 2nd Edition. That was a lot to go through. Hopefully I've got some good close-ups in there for you to see during the video, and then I will end it with some form of complete setup that you can take a look at now. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.